I think when we think about managing costs, what I, say a lot is not all returns are created equal, and not all consumers have equal long-term value to a retailer's top line growth. The other thing that we say a lot is having a one-size-fits-all return policy is likely not sustainable. I used to say dot 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 outside of Amazon, but if you actually look at what Amazon is very publicly saying they do, it is also not having a one-size-fits-all returns program anymore. And they as well are looking at how do they use their own data and assets, digital assets, but also physical assets in terms of store footprints and logistics networks to actually personalize the experiences their consumers have with returns as well. And so I think that dot 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 is gone. And I think the answer just is not all the days of a one size fits all return policy just really aren't sustainable almost for anyone. So, like I said, we look at both sides of the equation. It's like how do you use that returns as a loyalty lever, but then also how do you better manage your returns operationally? And we see that being done today in a number of different ways. A couple of examples. You can really use returns networks to better balance costs. Narvar has a
Okay.
program that we call Narvar Concierge, which is our reverse logistics consolidation network that can really help retailers save over 50% in per label savings costs, per label shipping costs, sorry. Um, I think, you know, the world of consolidation isn't really new, but what we've seen in the last, at least in our business, is a lot of our enterprise retailer partners haven't really engaged fully in consolidation networks because there's a trade-off of experience and time. Like the way that you can get savings in transportation is by slowing down. For
Mm,
some retailers that might work, but there's
yeah.
some challenges you might run into. Longer transit time might be longer refunding time. For some of our retailers who have limited inventory, getting inventory back faster is actually a premium to get it back into a resellable form. But the operational savings is really, really there.
Mhm.
Where I think, some of this beauty is that Narva can really start to lean in with a lot of our offerings to allow retailers to build out personalized or dynamic return programs that suit their customer and suit the business. So we think about consolidation, right? One of the things I said is longer transit times, maybe refunding. What Narva can do is a couple things there. With our intelligent returns dispositioning, we can help retailers only allow certain goods to go back to the consolidation network. So if we're working with a brand, sure, this season's items, which you only have 10 of each size in, maybe we never show you a drop-off network that takes a lot of time. But your flagship evergreen t-shirt or leggings, all day long, you don't need those back quickly. And then what we can also do through Narvar Iris, which is our intelligent retail insight service, is really started to harness the power of data to provide retailers signals on who might be a good trusted customer that could be low risk if they were refunded immediately at the drop off. So then you're getting the trade-off of customer experience, refunding your customer immediately so that there's no impact, slowing down transit so that you can get the savings, especially for goods that you might not need back quickly. Similarly, but then maybe from a different side of the coin, we could also use the same intelligence to force a customer to go to a drop-off network. What we know today is that consumers are significantly less likely to intentionally try to defraud you or abuse you through boxless networks. So Narva Concierge is an 100% label-free, box-free drop-off. And I think it's, I'd say it's really hard to take a handful of air to like a Kohl's location and be like, take my return, or a handful of
Right.
rocks and be like, this is my t-shirt. And
Right.
so Narvar's intelligence might
Wow.
determine someone to be a risk of fraud, potentially pushing them to a store or pushing them to a drop-off location can actually start to dissuade some of that behavior as well.